Hi Taurus, this is your astrology prediction for 2015 January. Happy New Year to all of you Tauruses who have their ascendants on the moon in Taurus. And I'm Lada from astrolada.com, where you can find out my birth chart calculator and see what your ascendant sign is. I always advise make sure you check the ascendant sign, not only your sun sign. The ascendant is very personal, but you can only find out what your ascendant is if you know your exact time of birth. And also at my website I have a selection of the top world astrologers that I have personally scouted and looked for and whose work I followed for years, and I've invited them to work with me. They are better than me, you know, they have some of them 20, 30 years experience. I have amazing psychics that I've chosen again from around the world, and a very trusted and small group of them because these are people that I personally guarantee for. So, what does January hold for you, Taurus? The first month of the year, how do you start it? Well, let's see the first big event that is happening. Mercury, the planet of business, of arranging things, of skills, of communication, will be for almost 2 months in your 10th house of career, because Mercury, from January, it goes into your 10th house and all of a sudden it stops moving and starts moving backwards, and then again starts moving forwards, and this whole process takes about 2 months, January and February. So by March, this whole process will complete. And what does it mean? Well, whenever a planet like Mercury goes retrograde, and it happens rarely, sometimes it happens once in, I don't know, 8 years or once in 15 years that Mercury will go so long, will stay so long in your 10th house of career. Well, this is the time in your life, starting now, January and February, when you will be asked to show your best professional skills. Mercury rules skills. Anything we've learned, anything that we use for our career, for how we present ourselves in the society, for our social status. But these are the practical skills, the knowledge, the information that we have, the management skills, the organizational skills we have. Sorry, I hope you can hear me, my microphone. And you will be asked, starting from February, from around maybe the middle of February onwards, for a big part of, starting from January, for a big part of February as well, to some such activities or projects at work that you had. You might have to revise them. You might have to put a lot more of your skills. You'll be called to use a lot more of your skills. You'll be called to something from the past as well, a project or something that you've worked or started working already. You'll have to put a lot more effort, or you have to examine it and make sure that you've checked all the details, that you've put everything in order there, because some mistakes can crop up if you rush ahead. You know, this is a time to slow down a little bit, to put a lot of effort there, but at the same time, by the end of this whole process, which continues about 2 months, so by the end of February, you will have much better results in regards to some career, projects, in regards to some activity that you've done to do with your social status, which will be much more fulfilling, which will bring you much better results, because definitely a retrograde planet asks us to put a lot more effort there, to use the best of our skills. So we might feel a bit more tense, a bit more, you know, stressed around that time. But at the end of this process, the results are much longer lasting. So this is the time of period a person can put their career and their professional things in order. They can make their work more efficient, more practical. They can, if you're a manager, if you're any career which is mercurial, you'll get some 2 very busy months with some very important projects. And what are mercurial careers? Wow, so many. Anything which uses the spoken or written word, journalists, teachers, communicators, people who talk like me, for example, people who teach, people who write, people who use documents, people who consult, people who, so many white collar, almost all white collar professions are Mercury professions. Almost anything who uses skill as maybe the skill of their hands, who uses a craft in some way as well. Mercury is the skill of this craft. They will have a very busy time. Starting from January, February, they might have to revise some project for it to come a few times back to them before they can release it to the world. And at the same time, what are those Mercury professions? People who travel in some way. I think that almost all people in media, people in communications, I think I mentioned almost all the Mercury professions, but definitely there will be very hectic, very demanding time on you when you're called to perform your best skills. And there might be some very important conversations that you're leading in January and February regarding your social status, because 10th house is social status, and these important conversations or interviews that you do can basically put you on a new, higher social level in some way, like increase, you can get a new job, for example. Now, when Mercury gets retrograde in someone's 10th house, especially if your ascendant is in Taurus, I've seen it over and over again. These people, it's a time when they have a few interviews, or maybe they've applied for a job before and this job comes back to them and they didn't hear from that job, and all of a sudden Mercury goes retrograde in their 10th house and they're called again for an interview and they can get to the next level. And they can, usually get the job, because Mercury tends to give and develop the house whatever it's passing, and especially in a practical way. So you organize, you put in order your business life, your career life, or if you are someone who is a stay-at-home person or someone who is at school, you definitely get very busy with projects and works which demand more order, more managerial skills, to be more organized, more ordered again, to use your practical activity. Some of you might even, sometimes it's when people are studying as well, because Mercury is the planet of learning new skills and new things, and you might have to revise a certain skill to improve on it so you can use it further to progress your social status. So this is what happens when Mercury is retrograde. So don't be scared. People, other astrologers say, don't do anything on Mercury retrograde. It's not true. This is when you have to do the most Mercury work. They have to be most focused on details. You have to put forward your best skills of communications or any skills that you want, your best knowledge. Because after that, when the retrograde process ends, this is when you reap the rewards of this hard work. And if some projects return to you, just do your best, complete them, and you'll have very good results by March. Also, Venus is in your 10th house, and Venus is an easy facilitating planet. So Venus promises to help with career matters, to help with those things that become more difficult in regards to career. If you really need to approach an authority figure of some case, whether it's a government figure, whether it's a boss sitting above you, whether it's a parental figure or a professor in some way that you are dependent or who has power over you, do it now. Do it now in January, while Mercury and Venus are both in your 10th house, because Venus makes sure that these people, authority figures, respond to you with gentleness, that they like you more, that they're more kind towards you in some way, that they're more understanding and more diplomatic. And the way for you to move forward in your career is by being very articulate, by talking, communicating, Mercury, and by Venus as well, which is being diplomatic, which without pushing, without demanding. You can express your demands and you can make important conversations about increase of social status, but do it in a nice way, by winning allies, winning those authority figures who can help you. If you don't have authority figures above you, some actions that you do right now, and by being diplomatic in regards to your business affairs, you will definitely progress much more than by being pushy and nasty or pushing others too hard. And you'll be required to take over more skills and to take more initiative in regards with your skills in January and February. So, you go and do that. Okay, and also Venus help make sure that you enjoy the process of those responsibilities and duties in regards to career that you're doing. You would enjoy them, and you can also be in contact with people that are higher standing than you, whether it's bosses or whatever, or people from a higher social class, who are kind to you, who you benefit from them in some way, who look kinder on you in some way, because this is Venus, the smaller benefic. It's a quick influence, so by the end of January it finishes, but still. All right, what else is happening for you, Taurus? Mars is going into your 11th house and will be there till March almost. From the middle of January till March, Mars will be in your 11th house. This is where you have to be proactive. This is where you can push a little bit. This is where you can take the lead, so to speak. And this happens once every 2.5 years that Mars passes for about a month or two in your 11th house. So it's a chance once every 1.5 years, every 2.5 years, for about a month or two, to take initiative in regards to 11th house matters, which is social networking. So it's time when you have to take activity, and you will become more initiative and proactive in regards to networking with others, creating more contacts, getting in touch with some friends or people you have not been in touch with, or acquaintances, or people who can be like benefactors to you, who can help you, who believe in you. Try not to antagonize them, because Mars might be more heavy-handed, and you acting through Mars might be the one who pushes a bit more. And it might create some confrontations and conflicts with certain friends. And also some friends or acquaintances might be having, or people from your social network might be having more, might be stepping a bit on your toes as well. They might be a bit more pushy, or a bit more, Mars is like a general. You do this, you do that, so there might be a bit of this energy. But otherwise, on the higher level, you can have much more exciting activities with such people. You might organize social get-togethers. You might be much more active physically, and in certain engagement with friends and groups of people. You might become more proactive in going to lectures, places where people get together, like-minded people get together, or concerts, or anywhere where big groups of people get together, or maybe groups, and you might find yourself that you're spending more time from the middle of January and big part of February with such bigger groups of people, with like-minded people, with activities which are group-minded as well, with networking, or just going and seeing more friends overall. Just be careful for some power struggles and conflicts there, because Mars is a bit more rough energy. But if you want to take the initiative to do something, to organize something in regards to more people getting together, now it's an ideal time, because you have the drive regarding this. Okay, what else is happening? Let's see. Jupiter, Venus, we spoke about everything. Mars is in your 11th house. Just be careful for some clashes with friends and like-minded people around the middle of January, because Mars in your 11th house receives a difficult aspect from Saturn. So this can be the middle of the month, can be a bit more stressful time. In regards to group activities and people in interactions with others, someone can be pressing your buttons a bit more, and try not to be yourself more rough, and more unthoughtful towards others, because it can create conflicts. And around the 18th till the 20th of January, Mars joins Neptune. So you can do, that's some of the things. Neptune is a hidden planet, so it's activities in groups with people which are not so visible to others, which are behind the scenes in some way. Your actions will not be found out then. But be careful not to get involved with such people and groups of people or friends into some kind of what is this called? Intrigues, in some kind of intrigues, because it might backfire on you. But otherwise, the month is quite peaceful, to be honest, to some extent. Only around the 15th there is a bit more stress, and the rest of the time, definitely the focus is on career, is on arranging matters, is on working hard, and using your skills and communicative abilities to get ahead in your social status, to revise certain projects you've done, to do some important business work which helps you to do with communication, with studies, with skills, which helps you move ahead. So thank you very much, Tauruses. I do not have specific degrees for you this time, or specific people, days that you're born, because nothing is directly affecting the, those degrees for Tauruses. So you kind of more, especially, for Taurus people, it's more easy influence this month. The start of the year seems more peaceful to some extent, and unless you have planets in other, like ascendant in a different sign, or your sun is in a different sign where there is more action and more stress happening, things for Tauruses seem to be going quite well, and you seem to be at the forefront of activities, and you seem to be kind of in invisible positions. Basically, 10th house is triggered for you, which is recognition, hard work, responsibilities, authority positions, ability to be noticed by others, ability your work to be noticed and recognized by others. So thank you very much.